I got in shape for $2 million. The money these guys are making today, I'd be damn near anorexic for $35, $40 million a year.
They're making 56, you Chuck.
I know. They'd be like, we got to get Charles to eat. He's anorexic.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life.
The 82-game preseason is in the books, and it's finally time for the real season. Don't miss out on any NBA playoff action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. From the play-in tournament through the finals, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and much more. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use code Shannon. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's the code Shannon, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Hello, welcome to another episode of Club Shay Shay. I am your host, Shannon Sharpe. I'm also the proprietor of Club Shay Shay. The guy that's stopping by for conversation and a drink today is a sports icon and a true superstar, one of the game's greatest NBA players and power forwards of all time. He's one of the greatest rebounders of all time. He's the shortest player in NBA history to lead the league in rebounding, a 16-year NBA vet, 11-time NBA All-Star, 11-time member of the All-NBA team, the 1993 most valuable player, All-Star Game MVP, a 2-time gold medalist, the leading scorer on the famous Dream Team. He's also named to the 50th and 75th anniversary team. He has his number retired in Philly, Phoenix, and at the University of Auburn. SEC Player of the 1980s, a 2-time inductee of the Hall of Fame, a 4-time Emmy Award-winning personality, analyst, and commentator. Fan favorite, successful author, sought-after speaker, philanthropist, one of the game's greatest character. He was like no other. A larger-than-life personality. He might be the most quotable sports figure in all of sports. Sir Charles, the round mound of rebound, the Prince of Pizza. Guess what they call him? The Leaning Tower of Pizza. The Crisco Kid, the wide load from Leeds, one of the most popular figures in NBA history. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Charles Barkley.
You wrote that. You read that just like I wrote it. Hey, I appreciate that. Hey, man, it's an honor, man. Thank you for having me.
Man, I've been.
We've been trying to do this for a long time.
We have. Yeah. Between golf,
I figured out we're crisscrossing each other across the country every week because I'm flying to Atlanta, you're flying to LA, back and forth. So I'm glad. It's an honor, though, man. You're doing a hell of a job.
Charles, man, I want to say thank you for opening up. I mean, your NBA career goes without saying, but what you've been able to do to transition after the NBA and to become, a lot of people might not like you, but they respect what you've been able to accomplish. And you've opened the doors for a lot of us, especially myself, because I took my cue from you, and we'll get into that a little later. So I want to toast your success. This is my cognac.
Hey, we got to talk about your cognac because I can't get into dark liquor, man.
This here is so smooth. It don't drink like, but see, it's a VSOP, but it drinks like an XO.
I'll tell you what, before we...
That's yours. You get to take that home.
Before we finish today, I'm going to try something.
Okay.
You got my word.
You got your Redmont.
Yeah, so, it's a company, a distillery I bought in Alabama about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Being from Alabama, I always look for business opportunities in Alabama.
Right.
And the distillery opened up, and I was like, okay, they do vodka gin. I think we got a great product. The only thing I worry about is me and my boys drinking all up the profits. Because I'm a vodka guy.
Okay.
But, we do a vodka and a gin. Shout out to Redmont. It's been cool.
Right.
It's a very interesting business. When I say interesting, I mean corrupt. It's
the
hard.
3-tier system?
Yeah, it is. But, long as I invest in Alabama, I grew up in a small town outside of Birmingham, but I'm always looking for investment opportunities in Alabama. Right. That'll always be home.
You grew up in a small town. I grew up in a small town, Leeds, Alabama. Yeah. What was Charles Barkley's childhood like?
Well, Shannon, it's interesting because poor people don't know they're poor until they get out.
Yeah. Because everybody around them is poor.
Everybody around you is poor. I had a great mother and grandmother.
Okay.
My mother was a maid. Okay. My grandmother worked at the chicken factory, but they did awesome. And, I had 3 brothers. Okay. 2 of my brothers have passed away. But man, we didn't even know we were poor. We lived in the projects.
Right.
and they worked all the time. But we didn't go without anything. So I've always tried to take care of them when they were alive. But I didn't know, like, we had everything we needed. We never went hungry. We always had good clothing. And I was so blessed to have a great mother and grandmother. My dad was not in the picture.
Okay.
And me and my dad, we got along later in life, but in the beginning, I had none but animosity and hate toward him.
Because he wasn't around?
Because he wasn't around, and he didn't do anything for us. And to see my mother and grandmother struggling, because, bringing up those boys, trying to make sure we got, cleaning people's houses. And my grandmother was crazy. She'd bring 1 million chicken feet home. And for you people who don't know what chicken feet are,
they are what they say.
They
chicken
are.
Feet.
And what people don't understand, this is a chicken feet. There's only one piece of meat right here, and you have to eat like 100 of them to get a full meal. She would bring all type of body parts home from the butcher shop all the time. But I made peace with my dad later in life, and because he died a couple years ago, but we became casual friends. I didn't need a dad by the time we reconnected, but I buried the hatchet because, you can't go through life being angry because it just weighs you down.
Yes.
But I was so fortunate to have a great mother and grandmother.
The forgiveness that you gave him, that was for you. Because he was living his life.
Yes.
You was carrying around something that was weighing you down.
Well, Shannon, that was a really traumatic experience in my life when I was in high school.
Okay.
So when I got ready, it's a couple goals in my basketball career I'm really proud of.
Okay.
Number one, getting my team to the state tournament. My high school had never been to the state tournament. And then getting Auburn to March Madness. Those are two of the most important things I've ever done in my life.
Okay.
But to get back to the high school thing, my junior year, we got beat by a better team.
Okay.
My senior year, we were the best team in the state, but I kind of got hurt. I got hurt, and we lost. And I kind of was just so depressed. I kind of stayed in bed for like 2 weeks. I mean, I was so mad. The first year, get them to the tournament was a big deal because they had never been before. The next year, I want to bring them the first state championship to my high school. And then we lost. I just went into a deep depression. So I got behind in all my classes, and I caught them in every one of them except Spanish. First of all, I have no reason why I was taking Spanish in Alabama. So I caught up in all my classes except Spanish, so I didn't graduate. I had to go to summer school.
Oh, man.
And my dad, who was living in California my whole childhood, flew in, and he ripped me a new asshole. And I'm already traumatized that I'm not going to get to March. And when he flew in, at that point, I just, hey, man, I ain't never going to forgive this dude ever again for yelling at me like that because I was already down.
So how often, prior to him flying in to ream you for failing that class, how often had you seen him? How active was he in your life?
Zero.
So that was like, he just came in just for that?
Yeah. And my memory is vaguely, but I don't think I probably saw him probably 10 times in my childhood. But he flew in for that high school reunion. And I didn't know that I had flunked the final exam until right before graduation. And he ripped me a new one. But that night, I went to the high school and I stood next door on the stadium and watched the graduation and cried for like 2 hours. And that night, I said, this is the last time I'm gonna let anybody ever have control of my life. I mean, I was crying. It was brutal.
Of course.
And I was standing there just watching all my friends graduate. And some of the people, let's be honest, they wasn't that nice to me. They were calling me dummy and things like that.
Right.
So I was kind of out of it. Then I went to summer school. And then from that point on, I got my act together. But the biggest problem was my first few years in the NBA, I was such an asshole. Because I was playing so angry because I was thinking about two people, Miss Gomez and my dad.
Miss Gomez, I'm assuming, is a Spanish teacher.
Yes. And, people said, man, why you play so angry and so aggressive? And I never told anybody until later. I said, man, every time I stepped on the court, I said, I'm going to stick it to Miss Gomez and my dad.
Right.
And it wasn't until the spitting incident in New Jersey, when I was sitting in a hotel room crying that night, I said, yo, man, you an asshole. don't play basketball to try to stick it to people, the kids who made fun of you in high school, Miss Gomez. First of all, it was your fault you flunked Spanish. It wasn't Miss Gomez's fault. It was your fault you flunked Spanish. Hey, listen, your dad's an asshole. That's on him.
Right.
Play basketball because number one, you're good at it. But it's just play. And that was like the turning point in my life. You know, and the second turning point was probably meeting Moses Malone.
Right.
Because because I was in college for 3 years and I weighed about 290-ish to 300. I was always fluctuating right in there. And then when I got drafted by the Sixers, because I led the league in SEC and rebound area, so I think I'm successful and I'm in good shape.
Right.
But
so there's no reason for you to lose weight if you're doing all that.
Yes. And because you've been a Hall of Famer, obviously, college shape ain't pro shape.
No.
Yeah, college shape ain't pro shape. It's a different animal.
It is.
And I remember I got lucky because Moses lived in the same building as me.
Okay.
And I said, Moses, I wasn't getting to play. I said, Moses, can I come see you tonight? He said, sure. What's up? I said, I'll tell you later. And I said, Moses, why am I not getting to play? He said, Charles, you're fat and you're lazy.
He was that blunt, huh?
Oh, yeah. He was great. He's like E.F. Hutton. He didn't say much.
Right.
But he was such an elder statesman and was so respected. He was like E.F. Hutton. Like every time Moses said something, because Doc spoke, Andrew Toney, Bobby Jones, those guys, Mo Cheeks too. But Moses never really said a lot. But when he spoke, that whole locker room like, Moses talking, shut the hell up. And when he told me I was fat and lazy, but then he said the next thing, he said, you want me to help you lose weight? And he said, I'll meet you before practice, after practice. And he said, let's lose 10 pounds. I said, okay. And then I got to about 290. And then he said, let's lose 10 more. Then I get to 280. Now I'm getting to play.
Okay.
Because I can sustain it. You can't sustain effort at 300.
Correct.
So now I'm at 280. He said, let's lose 10 more. He gets me to 270, 260, 250. And I look back at that when I talk to kids about losing weight. I said, let's lose some weight. Because if he had said to me, let's lose 50 pounds, I would be like, whoa. But he did it in such a smart way. He said, let's lose 10 pounds. Let's lose 10. And then when I got to 250, the rest is history.
Right. I'm looking at your childhood. I read that your grandmother ran a bar.
No, she didn't run a bar. We had people come to the house, get drunk every weekend. No, see, so it was, and you think that's normal.
Right.
And what's crazy about it, Shannon, it was a fight every weekend. Every weekend.
Yeah, because the drinking involved and gambling, probably.
So that's what it was. So we didn't have a bar in my hometown.
Oh, okay.
So starting Friday.
Pay period.
Everybody, because now, everybody's trying to make extra money.
Yeah.
And once they start losing, it's going to be a fight because they start drinking. So my grandmother would go to Georgia every week and get cheaper alcohol. And do shots. So I was kind of like the guy who bought the shots out.
Right.
And then go back to my room. Charles, come here, we need another drink. But starting Friday around 6 o'clock.
Okay.
10 people would come over and gamble. And then once it always started out civil. And then once somebody got drunk and started losing their money, it was always going to be a fight.
Of course.
And we did that every Friday and Saturday, pretty much my entire childhood. And that's how we made extra money, because you're not making enough money working in a meat factory and as a maid.
Right.
But it was crazy and my grandmother, she was amazing, but it was crazy. It's crazy thinking about it now.
Right.
Yeah.
What kind of lessons did that teach you? Seeing your grandmother doing what she could to make ends meet. You see your mom doing what she can to make ends meet. There's 4 boys going on. You're not getting the assistance that you need from your dad. You're not getting the love, the advice, the discipline from your dad. So what kind of impact did that have on you?
Well, so I had started stealing. And one night the cops chased us. That was the closest we ever got to getting arrested. And I remember when I was crawling on the ground in the woods, because they chased us, they were chasing us, and we were crawling, must have crawled like 100, 200 yards. Okay. And I remember I had dirt everywhere and scars everywhere, and I was like, damn, my mother and grandmother are working their ass off every day, and you out here being a crook. And then that's when I said, you know what? I got to give these ladies the love and the respect they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
So then I said, you know what? I'm going to just play sports. Right. And then what's really funny about it, I sucked at sports. I wasn't any good because I didn't have my growth spurt. Because most people don't know that I was only 5'10" when I was a junior in high school. If I hadn't had the growth spurt, ain't no telling what I would be doing today. Because I was a 5'10" backup point guard. And then one year I grew from 5'10" to 6'5".
I mean, but at 5'10", you probably weighed what, 175, 180?
No, I was like 220.
That's football player right there. You should have been a running back.
Yeah, let me tell you something. My friends make fun of me. I played football for one day. You know, football is my favorite sport in boxing.
Okay.
Because I think it takes a real man to play football and box. Because those are the only sports you can really get hurt at.
You're right.
And I was like, I played football for one day, and I was like, and I was to joke with the football coach later, after I had my growth spurt and later in life, he's like, I think I made a mistake putting you on the offensive line. I says, no, you made a mistake talking me into playing football. Because I played the one day, and I just ran into a guy full speed for like 2 hours. This is the stupidest shit ever. And I remember I was sitting in the locker room, I was bloody and beaten up, and I had my head down. I was totally, this was the first day of practice. And the coach says, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I said, wait, we're doing this tomorrow? And I said, I'm not doing this tomorrow. I said, no, under no circumstances. I said, coach. And after practice, I went on to coach, I want to thank you for the opportunity. But football.
You turn your equipment back in?
Right back in after that first day. This is not for me. This is not for me.
Right.
Like I say, one of the reasons football is my favorite sport, I think it takes tremendous courage. That and boxing are by far and away my two favorite sports. Right. Because you can't cheat in football and boxing. Basketball, you can skate on offense or defense and, whatever. But if you're on a football field, you cannot cheat. Mm-mm. Same thing in a boxing ring. You're going to get your head knocked off.
Correct.
That's why I admire football players and boxers, because it takes tremendous courage to go out there.
Right. You're born in Alabama. We understand the history of racism in Alabama.
Yeah.
Did you experience any racism growing up when you was in that small town of Alabama?
No, because the year I was born was the church bombing. Mm-hmm. You got the Selma massacre. Mm-hmm. You had the Montgomery boycott. My grandmother, in my town, it was. I think it was a great place to grow up. Because we weren't, in a small town, I don't even think we really know what the hell going on. I've experienced more racism and seen more racism when I got out of there, obviously. And, I was one of the first 2 kids to integrate the school system.
Right.
And we didn't know what the hell was going on. Mm-hmm. I didn't find out till later. There was a guy named Mr. Allen who drove me and 2 other kids, actually, to segregate, to integrate the schools.
The elementary school.
But I never felt racism in Leeds, to be honest with you.
That accent.
Yeah.
I have one very heavy colloquial dialect that's indigenous to the South.
Yes.
Did people make fun of the way you spoke, or did everybody speak like that?
I didn't realize it until I got to Philadelphia. Because I spent my entire life in Alabama. One of the great decisions I made was going to Auburn.
Wow.
Well, okay, so obviously, by now, I'm really close to my mother and grandmother. I'm going to stay in the box.
Right.
UAB is 25, 30 minutes from my house. Tuscaloosa is an hour 15 from my house. Auburn's the furthest way by far. It's like a legit 2 hours. Mm-hmm. So when I was trying to figure out where to go to college, UAB, led by the great Gene Bartow, made it to the Sweet 16. Alabama made it to the Sweet 16. And they both had everybody coming back.
Yeah. Bobby Lee hurt, Enos Watley.
Well, no, we came out together. Not only did they both make it to the Sweet 16, Alabama signed Enos Watley and Bobby Lee hurt. So I'm saying to myself, man, I want to play.
Right.
So I go down to Auburn, And I said, I'm looking around. I said, damn, these bombs done lost 12 games in a row. So I asked Coach Smith, I said, you got a pen on you? He said, oh, what, you a big time? You getting ready to sign an autograph? I said, nope, I'm signing right now because these damn guys can't play dead. Y'all done lost 12 games in a row. And I don't see anybody out there who put fear in my heart. And that's actually how the whole thing at Auburn went down. I said, his son was, he said, you gonna sign autographs? I said, nope, I'm signing a scholarship right on the spot because these dudes cannot play dead. And that's how I made the best decision to go to Auburn, because I tell all these kids, some of these kids are dummies. I said, yo, man, look who they have on the team before you go there.
Right.
If you know there's a guy who's really good and you play the same position, no matter how much confidence you got, you're probably not going to beat him out. He's going to be bigger, stronger, more experienced. I said, the number one thing, I said, if you want an education, you get an education anywhere. Mm-hmm. But the number one thing when you're deciding to go to college is playing time, because that's going to be the first time you're away from home. Mm-hmm. And if you don't get to play, college is going to suck. Your grades going to suck. Your personal life going to suck. You really need to look at who's on the roster before you decide to go.
So you said you didn't realize that you had an accent until you got to Philly.
To Philly.
Once you got to Philly, did you ever try to change the way you talk or enunciate words?
No, not really. Because as you know, fame ain't like everybody. Trying to explain being in the limelight of fame, whatever words you want to use, trying to explain that to a normal person is like talking Chinese or talking to an alien.
You're not a sports. You're a celebrity, Chuck.
Yeah. But when I first, it's overwhelming when it first happens.
Yes.
I said, you can't even prepare for it. Mm-mm. I said, when they start sticking those cameras and you turn on TV, they talking good or bad about you. In Philadelphia on the radio, going to the black barbershop, hey, never go to a black barbershop when you're on a bad team, ever. Hey, under any circumstances, I tell you, the Woody brothers in Philadelphia, man, I played on some teams that suck in Philly when Doc and Moses had went away. Never go to a black barbershop when things are going bad.
They will tell you the truth, Chuck.
They will tell you the truth. And even if it's not your fault, they just gonna tell you y'all suck. Yeah. Y'all suck. But no, I was trying to adjust. And a really important, a pivotal moment happened when I was with Dr. J. So my second year in the league, I'm starting to become a good player. Mm-hmm. And I hate when guys get on TV and say they don't give a shit what people think, blah, blah, blah. Everybody wants to be liked.
They do.
But I was trying to make everybody happy. They started, because my first couple of years, they went to Moses, Dr. J, Maurice Cheeks, Andrew Toney, those guys, Bobby Jones. I don't think I ever got interviewed my rookie year. So late in my second year, I'm starting to get it together and learn. The game's slowing down for me. And Dr. J, I said, Doc, how do I talk to the press? He said, well, you got to figure it out, because they're coming to you now. You turn into a hell of a player. And I said, well, I want everybody to like me. He says, well, that's kind of an interesting question, because no matter what you say, half people gonna like it and half people gonna dislike it. And I said, what does that mean? He says, that's the way this thing works. You can't make everybody happy. And then that was the turning point for me. I said, well, what if I just say my truth? He says, you might as well say your truth, because even if you said what everybody wants you to say, some people are gonna disagree with it. And then I changed my whole philosophy as far as just be honest. Mm-hmm. That does not mean I'm right all the time.
Right.
But I'm gonna try to be fair and give my honest opinion. And I can live with the repercussions. Because you said something earlier, whether people like me or not, they at least got you know what, at least Charles, even if I disagree with him, he doesn't have a hidden agenda.
Right.
Because the one thing I hate about these guys, and you know I got this hate towards Skip Bayless. Because, especially being black, I think I'm representing something bigger. Mm-hmm. I think every black person on television is really powerful. Really. Mike Wilbon, one of my mentors, one of the best people I ever met, he said something to me one time. He says, when he first got the job at PTI, one of my favorite shows with him and Kornhauser, he says, man, I didn't realize how powerful television was. He says, I've been with the Washington Post for 25 years. I walk around, Nobody say hello, kiss my ass, or anything. I'm on TV for a week. Hey, you're the guy from TV. And he said he had to learn, like, man, TV is a powerful thing. But the point I want to make as a black person, I'm really conscious of everything I say.
You gotta be.
You gotta be. Because there is a double standard.
It is.
Because one thing that drives me crazy when people use code word describing me, you, Stephen A, guys like that, I says, and I want to be very careful because I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I want to make this point. I says, well, I'm curious. You don't use those type of words. You use words, and we know what they mean, black. When you talk about Shannon, Stephen A, and Chuck, I said, but when Colin Coward, Jim Rome, Mike Greenberg, who are great guys, I might add, when they say stuff, you don't use those cold words with them. And I says, so I'm very cognizant of like, okay, there's a double standard. So I'm really careful about some of the stuff I say. But I'm not afraid of anything because my opinion matters just like theirs do.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think we start to understand is that it's not what we say, it's the breaking of down of everything, of every word, of parsing it, trying to like, well, this,
yes, this is my favorite. Well, when I see shows like, well, this is what he said, but this is what he meant. I'm like, no, I know what I meant.
I said it.
Yeah, I said it. But I always laugh when they say like, well, he said this, but this is what he mean. This is what he was trying to say. I'm like, no, I said exactly what I meant to say. It drives me crazy when I see not mainly saying about me, but talking about other people. Well, this jock said this, because Jim Rome says something I really love. He says, every time somebody says I mean no disrespect,
it's disrespectful.
You know what's coming next? Disrespect. Jim Rome, who's I really like a lot. He said he does a segment every week where he says that. He says, you know, it's time for the disrespect moment. And he always played the point, well, I mean no disrespect. He said, wait for it. You know what's coming next? Disrespect. And I love that.
Right. When you played, were you a trash talker?
Not much.
Not much?
Not much. Because I had too much going on in my brain. Because when you're 6'5", playing against a 6'8" guy, 6'9" guy, 6'10" guy, I have to have a strategy. You know, I think somebody said something to me one time. They went and looked at the numbers. I'm the only person in the history of sports who never played against anybody who was shorter than them. Because I played center in college.
Right.
And then obviously in the NBA, I'm always going to be the shortest guy.
You're the shortest power forward in history.
Yeah, in history. So I had so much going on in my brain. I'm like, okay, they bringing this guy in. He does this well. He does this. He plays me this way. Then they bring the other guy in. I said, well, he plays me this way. They're going to do this. So I had so much going on in my brain. I mean, because like I say, when you can't out talent. I mean, if you're Michael, LeBron, Kobe, Shaq, you can out talent 99% of the guys in the world. But when you're a 6'5" power forward, you can't out talent people. I tell people that you can't out talent people at my size. You have to use your brain.
Right. Did you fight a lot as a kid?
No, because I was too little. You can see that's the thing that people don't understand. Like, I was always small until I had the growth spurt.
Right.
When you're a little dude, you can't be going around fighting people because you're going to get your ass kicked. It was, people always ask me though about the growth spurt.
Yeah.
I never had any pain.
Really?
I cause when you wake up one day and you're 5'10" and then the next day you're 6'5", like, I never went through like this.
Knees didn't bother you, back, nothing hurt.
It was really weird. It never hurt me.
But could you tell that you had grown that much over the summer?
I did not know it. That's what's weird. The coach said to me, "You grown over the summer?" I said, "I think I've grown a little bit." And then he said, "Like, you like 6'4" and a half, 6'5". And
from 5'10"?
Yeah. And the best thing though, Shannon, was because the number one asset of my game was my ability to dribble.
Yes.
Because you can't post up guys who are 6'9", 6'10", but they don't want to move their feet.
Correct.
So when I played guard all those years, that was probably the best asset to me when I got to play against those big guys.
Thought you'd handle the ball.
Yeah, because them big dudes. The one thing, like, it's hard to post them up, but they can't move their feet more than 1 or 2 times, and that was the biggest asset of my game, my ability to dribble.
If you grow that much in a summer, I mean, your clothes, you probably looking like Jethro Bodine. You probably.
Well, that's the one thing about being poor. You're just dropping down.
Oh, so you wear hand-me-down.
You're hand-me-down. Because, we ain't going to get you're going to get your one suit for Easter.
Yeah.
You're going to get a couple outfits for Christmas. The rest of the stuff is going to be hand-me-downs.
Oh, yeah.
And also, when you're in a small town, it's a very close-knit community. Mm-hmm. So when you get done with clothing, it's always a neighbor. Somebody gets something. That's why I'll always appreciate growing up in a small town. Kenny grew up in New York. I wouldn't want to unsure how my life would have been different if I had grown up in New York. But growing up in a small town, it was a sense of community.
Community.
Yes.
Everybody, and that's what when I'm on nightcap and I try to tell people this, it was always everybody was yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. If you misbehave, Miss such and such would tear your tail up.
You're going to get 2 whippings.
And then she going to go home and say, Mary, I had to whip that boy because he was being managed or he was cursing. And then you got another whipping.
Yep.
What happened to that sense of community, Chuck?
We in the black community, we just have to do better. We got to, number one, racism exists, always has, and always will. I tell people this, sports are a great thing for black kids. It's really helped a lot of us get out of here and help and go back and make things better. But you have to understand something. If you're born, and it's white poor too.
Oh yeah,
because it's really economic racism, like calling people names and stuff like that. That's just silly and stupid. But economic racism is the biggest problem we have in this country.
Right. Because
if you're black and poor or white and poor, you're going to be born in a bad neighborhood, and you're going to go to an inferior school. And I always use this analogy. I says, if you play baseball, and if every time you step up to the plate, you got 2 strikes against you, Shannon gonna get a hit, Chuck gonna get a hit, and we're gonna have a couple of hits.
Right.
But most people gonna strike out.
Yes. Or you're afraid to swing.
Yes.
You're going to get that 3rd strike.
So I just think that we got to do a better job of holding each other accountable and accept the fact that, hey, it's a double standard, but you can never give up. You can never be like, you know what, I'm tired. Because let's be realistic, it's still better than it used to be.
Yes.
It ain't perfect, but it's still better than it used to be.
Check this out. When you got to Auburn, you weighed 300 pounds. The first 200 days in college, it's reported that you ordered 100 pizzas. But you led the SEC in rebounding your 3 years you were there. You hold the record for the career field goal percentage at almost 63%. You was SEC Player of the Year and the Decade of the 80s, and you're a member of the Auburn's All-Century team. How the hell you do that at 300 pounds?
Man, I had some serious talent, to be honest with you. And like I say, the college game is not near as fast. We just live in a different generation, a lot faster now. But, you kind of, unless you get a fast break, because when teams score, you're walking the ball up and down the court. And it was really interesting. One of my coaches, Roger Banks, I struggled like the first week I was in college. He says, son, what is your problem? Because I averaged 20 rebounds a game in high school. Because I played with a really good high school team, and they never ran plays, so I had to get my own. And
you weren't passing it back out, you quit.
No. So we had about 8 players who got scholarships. We had really good teams.
Wow.
We had really good sports teams in my hometown. Because, a lot of times when people in small towns, they got like 3 high schools. The one thing about my high school, we got one high school, you go K to 12 with the same group. So we always had good sports teams.
Well, you didn't go K to 12 in the same class, did you?
No. No, but I'm telling you, it was crazy. You see the same people from K to 12.
Right.
And it's so funny how, we always had good teams in football and basketball. Always had good teams in football and basketball.
Did it ever dawn on you? You're like, well, man, I'm really killing it. I'm playing, I'm averaging 13, 14, 15 points. I'm getting 10, 12 rebounds. Man, if I lost a few pounds, I might be able to bump that up to do 20, 15. Did that ever cross your mind in college?
No, because when you know, the toughest thing about a player, and you know this, and a team, kind of happened to my Eagles this year. When they got off to like a 10-1 start, a lot of times what people don't understand, when you're having success, you still need to get better as a player and as a team, and have because you can have bad habits, but your team is so good you keep winning. So I'm not sure, but like I'm probably the only freshman to ever lead the SEC in rebounding. And then I led it every year, so I'm not thinking about flaws. I think I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm not thinking about, yo, man, lose weight. I'm like, yo, I'm all SEC. I'm leading the league in rebound as a freshman, as a sophomore, as a junior. And I'm like, no, I'm good. And, you know, actually, my coach tried to get me to lose weight, and we fought a little bit early in my career. We're really close today because I had to go back and apologize. I said, you know what? You were right. You were right. I was wrong. I should have lost weight sooner. I could have been better. But, you know, when you're 18 and having success, you don't think anything. You're good.
You think you're the beast?
Yeah. So it goes back to my thing with Miss Gomez and my dad. Like, you know what? It's you. You know, I tell you, the one thing about being in the limelight, man, very few people have the ability to say, my fault, my bad.
Yeah. There ain't a whole lot of accountability going on.
There's a lot of people kissing your
right.
Yeah, very few people have the ability to say, hey, you know what, it's my fault, it's my bad, I was wrong. Because like I said, you got so many people kissing your you got so many people on the payroll who are kissing your It's like, so you have to be self-aware. And that's the only thing I hate about life. All the dumb shit you did, you get older, you get so much smarter and get so much wisdom, and you go back, man, what a dummy I was. And
but nobody told you that was dumb.
No, yeah. But you know, that's the one thing about life that I really hate, that you don't learn all this smart stuff till you get older. Because there's so many people out there. There's so many people out there who make mistakes that they either die from or it ruins their life. And if you get older, you're like, man, what I did back then was dumb and stupid. And I wish that more young kids would talk to people like you, me, because we've been through some stuff. Like when I watch you all the time, you talk about preparing for success. You talk about your time in Denver. You talk about your time with the Ravens, about trying to teach the young guys how to do things, take care of their bodies and things like that. I tell these guys, yo, man, it's like Zion. I like Zion a lot.
Does he remind you of you?
He reminds me, I mean, he's more explosive.
He's more athletic than you.
He's more athletic. But the sooner he gets in shape, the better he's going to be.
Have you had a conversation with him?
No. And I don't know him, but I try to tell him that on television. I hope he hears it and don't take it as a criticism. Cause like, he has got so much talent. And you can't get in shape during the season.
No.
You get in shape during the summer.
Correct.
And I see that he's lost about 25 pounds. That's what the report started during the season. You got to do that during the summer, because you got to be ready to go when the season starts. Because he is so explosive. Because that last game that he got hurt in
against the Lakers,
that's the best I've ever seen him play. But listen, I got in shape for $2 million. The money these guys are making today, I'd be damn near anorexic for $35, $40 million a year.
They're making 50, 60, Chuck.
I know. They'd be like, we got to get Charles to eat. He's anorexic. I was like, my first contract was 4 years, $2 million.
Right.
And I said, I lost 50 pounds for that type of money. I said, for 30, 40, 50, $60 million, they'd be like, yo, guys, Charles is losing too much weight. We got to make sure he ain't bulimic or something. I said, man, I just hope he listens.
Right.
And don't take it. Because guys who've been in this business like yourself and myself, man, it's just the best job in the world.
But sometimes you need to take constructive criticism. But the problem is that a lot of time athletes, and I've been one and now I'm on the other side, is that we have people around us that tell us what we want to hear, not what we need to know.
Yes.
And so a person that tells you what you need to know, you're less apt to move away from that person and keep the people that's telling you what you want to hear around.
Yeah.
They should tell him. He should see it, because when I first saw him, I say he reminds me of Charles Barkley, but he's more explosive than Chuck.
Yes.
But if he got down to 250,
woo, they'd have to change. It'd be like, because the thing he did against the Lakers in that one game, he could do that every night. And that goes back to my original thing. Like, I could have a couple good plays when I was 300 pounds.
Right. You couldn't sustain it.
But I couldn't sustain it. When I got to 250, I could sustain it. Mm-hmm. And I could go the next day and the next day and the next day. And I hope, these guys, and I hate to be the old man, because, when you say something or I say something,
we hate.
What we hate, or we the old get off my lawn guys. I'm like, no, we know how this story ends.
Right.
I says, let me tell you something. I know how every NBA story is going to end. I played against Bird. I played against Magic, Kareem, Michael. I know what it takes to be successful. And
no, you know what it takes to be great.
Yes. And the thing is, it's like, let's talk about drugs. I had a younger brother who was a junkie who died at a young age. When I talk to these young kids in high school or college about drugs, I said, yo, man, it ain't a matter if, it's a matter of when. It broke my mom's heart. It broke my heart for a long time. I said, yo, man, I don't understand why you got to do drugs. I just don't get it. And I almost did cocaine one time because, I had put my brother in a bunch of rehabs, and I was like, what's the up with this? And I talked to one of my boys. I says, yo, man, I want you to get me some cocaine. He says, Charles, you nuts. I says, man, my brother, he gonna die at some point. And I ain't never had something so strong that I would give up the NBA or my money saying, I gotta do drugs.
And he knows it's killing him, but he can't stop doing it.
John Lucas, who's a great, great man, he said, Chuck, I'm gonna tell you something about a junkie. He says, if I put $1 million on this table cash and a pile of cocaine over there, or crack, or whatever you want to say, a junkie would not say, man, I can buy a lot of cocaine with that money. He gonna go right for that pile over there. Wow. And my brother died, I think he was 40 when he died. He got his life together. But he had done so much damage to his body. Right. And it just gave out. And when I talk to these kids, I say, yo, man, it ain't a matter if, it's just a matter of when. If you doing this drug thing, it's somebody in your family gonna get a call one night that it's over. Mm-hmm. And that, I felt so bad for my mom because she never got over it.
Wow.
Never got over it.
Right. You come out, the NBA, the 1994 draft. Now, 84 draft. The 84 draft, Michael Jordan, John Stockton, Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon. The first three were Hall of Fame. Olajuwon went, I think he went first.
Yes.
Jordan went third. Sam Bowie went second. Y'all had Hall of Famers. The 85 draft, Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullins, Charles Oakley, Joe Dumars. 87, David Robinson, Reggie Miller, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, Mark Jackson, Muggsy Bogues. 96 draft, Kobe, Ray Allen, Steve Nash, Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, Derek Fisher. And obviously the 2003 draft. Yeah. LeBron, D. Wade, Chris Bosh, Melo. All Hall of Fame. What's the best draft?
Well, I don't know if you can say who's the best draft. I give you an example why I say that. Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Dan Marino, they're in the conversation of the greatest quarterbacks ever. And Pat Mahomes is ascending.
Yeah.
Those guys ain't never gonna be near the record books in 5 to 10 years. And they're some of the best
to ever
do it. The games have changed, the rules have changed. Doesn't make better or worse, it's just different.
Should we consider that when we're talking about greatness because of the rule change in football?
I think you have to. Like, I don't care who, think about this. there's probably going to be 10 quarterbacks in the next 5 years that's going to shatter all the records. And they're going to be one third the player Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Dan Marino, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning. Mm-hmm. Those guys going to be, they probably won't, think about it, in 10, 15 years, not probably won't even be that long, they won't even be in the top 10 yardages and touchdown passes because the rules have changed.
Right.
And it's obviously just now, number one, they're going to pass it.
Yeah.
A lot more. But also defense is a handicap right now also. So all the players you mentioned are great. But it is just a lot easier to play basketball. Because I tell people, Michael, when you played them boys from the Pistons, we used to always say, call your family, tell them you love them and goodbye. Because there was a chance you wasn't going to make it out. They were trying to hurt people. They had 6 guys who used their fouls. You know what's so crazy? When I was watching that the documentary, The Last Dance, some of those fouls will get you suspended for 10 games today.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. And they were just one foul back then.
Yeah, Bill Lambier would have been out of the league for at least 30 games. Because he was deliberate with his.
Yes.
Ain't no hiding or nothing.
The same thing with Mahorn, John Sally, Dennis Rodman. I mean, think about it. You go back and, because Lambier, all the guys. So the rules have changed. They're not, like I say, I don't ever say things are better.
Right.
But all these guys are great. And I was blessed to play in a generation because the 2 most important figures in NBA history were Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
Right.
If it wasn't for those 2 guys, and Reese had something to do with that.
Yes.
Reese had something to do with that.
Drew a line.
It drew a line.
Black.
But it's still the best thing ever happened to the NBA.
It is.
Because before then, the average salary then was $200,000. When Magic and Bird came in, because first of all, it was too black, too thuggish, too drug infested, and we were tape delayed.
People don't realize that.
They don't even know that.
The NBA Finals was on tape delay.
And Shannon, you got 1 game a week on Sunday.
You did. I remember it.
You got 1 game a week on Sunday. And people now, you can watch a game 7 days a week. We own
all the games.
All the games. I said, no, you don't understand. This how, and like I say, it was a long time ago, but think about it. The finals were tape delayed. Mm-hmm. And there was only 1 game on Sunday. And the average salary was $200,000. The average salary now is $10 million. We got, what's going to be crazy, we got 3 NBA players, I think, 3 or 4 making $60 million a year. Mm-hmm. In the next 5 years, we're going to have guys making 70, 80, 90
Luka will probably be first.
It's going to be crazy.
80 a year, Chuck.
Yeah, 80 a year to play basketball.
Good.
And what's crazy, Shannon, this is how old I am. I remember vividly me, Doc, Moses, Bobby Johnson, Andrew Toney, we were in the locker room one day, and it broke that Magic Johnson had been the first NBA player to make $1 million. We were walking around high-fiving each other. We could not believe that an NBA player made $1 million.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm with Doc and Moses now, who are all-time greats. They're high-fiving each other. They're like, we can't believe an NBA player making $1 million. That's how crazy it was thinking about money back in the day.
Wow. It says it was reported that you didn't want to go to Philly so bad that in a 48-hour span, you ate 2 Denny Grand Slam breakfasts, 6 pancakes, bacon, totaling about 1,600 calories, a vanilla milkshake, Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket, mashed potatoes, coleslaw, half the menu at Red Lobster, 2 McDonald's fish fillets, large fries. I don't know why the hell you had a Diet Coke.
To wash it down.
2 Texas-sized barbecue sandwiches, a T-bone steak, baked potato, 3 desserts, repeated it for the next day, gained 20 pounds, also while drinking. What the hell? You could have killed yourself. You could have went to a food coma.
I could have been poor too. No, so they had a really hard cap.
Right.
So I'm with my agent. So I you do your visits.
Yeah.
The owner of the 76ers says, put me on the scale. I'm weighing about 295. This is about a month before the draft. He says, we're concerned about your weight. I says, well, I'm gonna get in shape. I think but whatever, blah, blah, blah. He said, we want you to lose 10 pounds. We want you to come in the day the draft, stop in Philly on your way to New York for the draft. So I go train for a month down in Houston. I think at the time I'm weighing about 282, 283, somewhere in there.
I don't know if that's gonna happen in a month, Chuck.
No, I got down. It was only like 12 pounds.
Okay. He wanted you to get to 280. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You 282.
He says we want you to get to 285.
Okay.
So I go down to Houston and train for a month, and I'm like 282, and we get on the scale. He says, "Now, Chuck, we have a problem." I said, "What's the problem?" He says, "Well, the Sixers are they're at the cap. They can only give you a 1-year deal for $75,000. I said, "I didn't leave college for $75,000. Are y'all crazy?" He says, "Well, I don't know what to tell you." He says, "Sixers want to take you." I said, "I don't want to." I said, "I didn't leave college for 1 year for $75,000. What if I get hurt?
Right.
I'm trying to take care of my family, set my family up for life."
Yeah.
He says, "Well, if the Sixers draft you, you're going to have to sign a 1-year deal for $75,000. I said, "What can we do?" He says, "Well, we're stopping in Philly on the way to New York." Man, we went right to Denny's. I got a Grand Slam. I canceled workouts for the next 2 days. I got me a Grand Slam. We went out. I got me some shakes. Went to a big steakhouse the night before. Got me the big T-bone. Got me some fries. Got me a big old piece of cake. Did the same thing the next day. I get back to Philly. We stop. I'm 298. The owner team called me. What the? And me and my agents looked at each other like, whew, thank God we dodged a bullet. And if you go back and look at my face and out of the draft, and that sweet burgundy suit, I might add. Man, when they said with the number 5 pick, the 76 select Charles Barkley, the look on my face, I'm in shock. And I'm thinking, damn, I left college for $75,000. I gotta be the biggest fool in the world. And so we go down to Philly, and he says, go to the summer league. And I said, well, I got no choice. So I go to summer league, and I start just whooping. I was like, I got this. And he says, okay, we're gonna trade some players, because we're not gonna make you sign a 1-year deal. And they traded Franklin Edwards and I think Mark Ivaroni. And my first deal was 4 years, $2 million.
Mm-hmm. You was on the court when Doc and Larry got into it. What caused that?
Man, first of all, I hate the NBA for that reason. They owe me $5,000. I'm still pissed to this day. Because the one thing I would never do is hold a guy for another guy to hit him. And I've been mad. I'm still mad this day. Y'all owe me $5,000, Adam Silver. So Larry Bird was a great trash talker.
Okay.
And he's like, Charles, y'all better get this old man off me. I'm telling you. And he's just roasting Doc.
Yeah.
He's like, and this was Doc last year, I think. He was right. It was either last year or the year before. And he's killing Doc. And he's like, Chuck, I'm telling you for the last time, you better get over here because I'm going to kill this old man. And it goes on up and down. And Larry just killing him. And Doc had just had enough. And I just had them, they come together, and I just kind of grabbed Larry. I'm not even looking at Doc. When I went back and looked at the tape, Doc was nailing his ass. I was just trying to pull guys apart.
Yeah, but you can't ever fight. You can't grab one unless somebody grab you. Hey, you grab him.
I grabbed Larry because I didn't want him hitting Doc.
But ain't nobody grab Doc.
I know. But you just said something. If I grab Doc and Larry started pummeling, I can't go back to Philly.
Right.
I can't go back to Philly. So I grabbed Larry, to stop him from hitting Doc, and Doc wailing away. But Doc, it started because Doc was like, Larry's like, yo, man, y'all better get, and he's screaming it too. Everybody can hear it. Y'all better get this old man off me. I'm going to kill him out here. Larry's one of the, I tell you, Larry Bird was one of the best trash talkers ever. So one of my teammates, Leon Wood, was great. He's an NBA official now.
Yes,
So we're in the room getting ready for the 3-point contest at an All-Star game. Larry walks in and says, which one of y'all gonna come in second place? Y'all heard me. Which one of y'all gonna come in second place? I was like, damn, that was like my first real talk to him. Ooh, that sounded pretty aggressive. He won though. He won. I mean, he was one of the best at trash talking, man. When he came in there and said that, you could have heard a pin drop. Everybody's all excited and everything.
Everybody was geek.
Yeah, was geek. Larry walked in and said, which one of y'all gonna come in second place? You could have heard a pin drop.
You probably played, when you look at the era in which you played, Magic, Bird, Kareem,
Yeah.
Michael, Olajuwon, Patrick, Robinson.
Yeah.
What was that era like? Because that was that era made it possible for this era.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this era gives that era enough credit, and maybe that era doesn't give this era enough credit.
Well, that's a great question. We should always give credit to the guys who came before us.
Correct.
Always. Because if it wasn't for those guys, nobody would be, y'all making this money because y'all were born at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
You're not better than Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird,
Right.
Kareem, Wilt, Bill Russell. You're not better than those guys.
Well, let me ask you this, but let me push back. Those guys, but I'm saying average.
Yeah.
If you look at the teams now, guys are more skilled. You have more guys that can shoot the equivalent of Reggie and Larry.
Yes.
On a team.
Just be appreciative of that generation.
Okay.
I got nothing but love for these young guys because number one, they're great.
Yes.
But they should always have great appreciation for the older guys because those guys did all the heavy lifting. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like being black, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I have so much love for older black people.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know what it's like for people to spray me with a water hose.
Sick the dog.
Or tell me, we're taping this in the Four Seasons. We couldn't have been here.
No.
They said, take your black up to the Motel 6 and do this interview.
Right.
Like, if you can't, every time I meet an older black person, I'll give you an example. One of my mentors was Joe Morgan.
Okay.
He called his dad one day. He said, Dad, we're going to meet Jackie Robinson tomorrow. He said, what do I say? He says, just tell him thank you. And I think every time I meet an older black person, I want to say thank you because y'all did all the heavy lifting. Yeah. Y'all did all the heavy lifting.
What they had to endure.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Like I can go to any restaurant I want to.
Anyone.
I can stay at any hotel I want to. I don't even know what it's like when people say, well, you can't stay here. Or good to the back of the bus.
Back of the bus. Or the movie theaters. I'm old enough to remember the movie theaters, the black sat up top.
Yeah.
You couldn't sit down low.
Yeah.
Now, I'm old enough, I do remember that.
And so the analogy of every basketball player today, just say, yo man, I want to thank you. Not even me.
Right.
Because I made a good living.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I meet an older guy, I'm like, yo, man, thank you for what you did for me. But every time I meet Magic and Bird, I tell them guys, man, thank y'all. Because in sports, there are a lot of great players. Mm-hmm. But there's only a few guys who move the needle.
Correct.
Like in golf, there are a lot of great players today. But Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Gary Player, Phil Mickelson, and Tiger Woods, those guys took the sport to a whole nother level. Like there are a lot of great players, but very few players are like, oh, I got to watch that guy on television.
Right.
We need to do the TV deal because of that guy. Mm-hmm. And all you want from any generation is, number one, leave it better.
Correct.
Like I'm disappointed in these guys today with this low management. I say, yo, man, first of all, we're not teachers. We're not nurses. We're not in the service. People who work like hard every day.
Yeah, for sure.
We play a stupid basketball game for 3 or 4 days a week. You're not going to play more than 3 or 4 days a week. You're going to make 30, 40 million, 60 million. I'm pretty sure the nurse don't want to go to work sometime.
She can't low manage.
Yeah, she can't. I'm pretty sure teachers can't low manage. I says, man, just play basketball. You got the best shoes. Can you imagine Bill Russell playing in those canvas shoes?
Do Chuck Taylors?
Chuck Taylors. Can you imagine? I mean,
No support.
No support. And they played every game for $3,000 a year. And you can't just like, of course you're sore. I'm pretty sure doctors and nurses are sore. But man, just to be appreciative of how lucky and blessed we are to do something stupid and make $1 gazillion.
How different would your career have been if you weren't drafted and played in the era of Michael Jordan? Do you win a title?
That's a great question. I don't know. But I'm glad I played in his era. Because number one, you want to play in a great player, the greatest, or it's a debate between him and LeBron. Some people still think Kareem. You want to play in that because number one, what Michael did, going back to what we talking about, how respect for the older generation. If it wasn't for Michael, I wouldn't make millions of dollars from Nike a year.
Right.
LeBron, Kobe wouldn't make millions of dollars from Nike a year. If it wasn't for Michael Jordan, we all wouldn't have commercials. People act like athletes always did commercials. No. Number one, none of us had a shoe deal until Michael. None of us shot commercials until Michael. So whether you want to debate who's the greatest, that guy is the reason that's the reason think about this. And when I was it was really fun in that movie Air, because I'm technically in the movie because me and Mike are in the same generation. His mom and dad having the forethought to say, he gonna get a piece of the shoe.
Right.
And then Matt Damon, who plays Sonny, says, well, we don't do it like that. Miss Jordan said, yeah, we do it like that. And because of that, I made millions of dollars from Nike, just from and also from my signature shoe.
Right.
So I lost to Michael Jordan. It would have been great. And the only thing I ever felt bad about, Shannon, to be honest with you, I couldn't win the 76ers, not the 76ers, the Suns, the championship.
Right.
Because in Philly, they had one. In Houston, they had one. I have always felt bad that I wasn't able to bring a championship to Phoenix, because that's my home. They gave me, when I got traded there, my life just changed dramatically. Because, man, all I wanted was some help. Because when you're a great player, man, it's hard to go out there. Because there's a couple things that happened to me that really, because I was getting so depressed in Philly, because I was saying to myself, damn, I suck as a basketball player. I says, we get beat in the first round every year. And I'm like, I know I'm great, but our team wasn't very good. But I'm like, yo, man. And I'm having my private moments. I'm talking to my friends. I'm like, man, am I not good at basketball? I think I'm great, blah, blah, blah. And then when they called me for the dream team, I was like, damn, I am pretty good.
Right.
I'm like, I am good. Thank you. And then when I got traded to Phoenix, they gave me Dan Marley and Kevin Johnson and Mark West and those guys. I'm like, because when I got there that first day, I said, guys, I think I'm the best basketball player in the world. We're going to play the Bulls for the championship. Michael Jordan just has some more help. I'm just as good as him. They look at me like I'm crazy. They're like, what? I says, I think I'm the best basketball player in the world. Y'all gonna find out right now, because we're gonna go out here and start kicking some.
Right.
I told them that the first day. And there was a turning point in the season, and I know Michael well. We got off to a good start. We played the Bulls, and he just kicked our. And I was saying to myself, he know we're gonna play them in the finals. He wants to send us a message. So after the game, I told him, I said, guys, we got to get better. That guy sent me a message tonight. And I didn't like the message.
But I received it.
Yeah, I received it. And then we went on like a 12, 13 game winning streak, finished with the best record in the NBA, get to the finals. And I said, I get the chance to prove my point. And I'll tell you, Shannon, that's the first time in my life I felt like, I said, damn, that guy's better at basketball than me. Because I had my chance, a showdown at the OK Corral. And so, no, it was an honor. Same thing I say, but Bird and Magic, Kareem, it was just a great time.
The Dream Team. Let's clear this up. The Dream Team was supposed to take the best 11 NBA players. It was the best 12 players. They ended up taking 11 NBA players, and they took Christian Laettner.
Yes.
A lot of people believe that Isaiah Thomas was one of the best 11 NBA players. A lot of people believe, Charles, he was better than John Stockton.
I think he was a better player than John Stockton.
Well, then why didn't he get to go on the team?
Well, you know, Shannon, number one, that is an amazing question because I'm so glad I get a chance to straighten this out.
Yeah, please straighten it out.
Number one, they never asked me about Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
And it just came out, and I can't speak for the other guys, but they never asked me personally about Isaiah Thomas. And Isaiah Thomas probably should have been on the team. And they asked Michael Jordan, did he have anything to do with it? And then it actually just came out in the last year where he said, I'll play as long as Isaiah don't play.
Thank you.
So,
and then you got to have him. If you're going overseas, you got to take the biggest guy.
So I don't know this personally, but I think it was Jack McCallum who said he had it on tape and he played it. Because I've been asked that question 1,000 times. Dude, they never asked me about Isaiah Thomas. But apparently Michael didn't want him on the team.
Well, he wasn't going to be on the team.
Yeah.
Whoever Michael didn't want on the team wasn't going to be on the team.
We're not going to be on the team. But I will tell you something, man. I've been so lucky and blessed in my life. Ain't nothing like the Olympics.
Right.
It's the most cool event that I've ever been to. We had no idea how big it was going to be when we got there.
Right.
Because I tell people, that was probably a 12-foot window, maybe 15 feet, where they could see us get on the bus. Man, it was 5,000 to 10,000 people out there every day just to get a glimpse of us. Mainly, obviously, Michael, Magic, and Bird.
Even though Bird wasn't playing.
But they would just scream to watch these guys walk. And then when we took off, there was a helicopter above the bus. There was a police car in front, police car in back. There was 2 guys on motorcycles. And one on the back had a machine gun. There was people along the highway holding up signs. It was, and we're like, whoa, this is some real shit here. This is the real deal. And we were like, yeah, man, this is,
Did you know it would be this big?
Not even close. Nobody did. We had no idea. Because first of all, you know, we never really experienced anything like that.
Right.
And then we were like, whoa, this is a big deal. I mean, people on the highway holding up signs, hundreds of them.
Right.
But when we walk out every day to go to the game, it was 5,000 to 10,000 people. They were like a 50 yards away, and they could only see us walk like 12 to 15 feet.
Right.
But they were screaming. It was crazy. But but being at the Olympics itself was such a cool and I tell people when they're playing that national anthem, and when me and Bird, imagine all the guys
overseas and they playing the national.
Yes, and we're all getting goosebumps. I mean, it was surreal.
You do realize what you guys did is that you birthed an era. The Nikola Jokic's, the Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Those guys they probably wasn't born then, but their parents and people, and coaches, they saw that, the Dirk Nowitzki's.
Yeah.
The page, because at the time, if I'm not mistaken, the only guy that I can remember in that era was like Sabonis.
Yeah.
I think Peja.
Yep.
Sarunas Marcelonas.
Yep.
There were only a handful. It's not littered, and I don't mean that in a negative term, but it wasn't the influx of foreign European players like it is now.
Well, shout out to the great late David Stern. I think that was his vision, to be honest, to make the game international.
Right.
And it was really funny. Like the first time I met Dirk Nowitzki, he was like 18. And we're overseas. This was a Nike trip. And he's got like 30 at halftime. And I got like Scottie, Pippen, and some other good. We got like, Nike was always ahead of the curve, taking us to foreign countries to play. Dirk's got like 30. And Scottie was like one of the best defenders in the world. He's like, I got him. Dirk got finished like 50-something.
You ain't got it, Scott.
Yeah, and I said, yo, man, who the hell are you? And he got that thick German. My name is Dirk Nowitzki. I'm 18. I said, 18? You want to go to Auburn? I says, just name your price. We're good. He's like, what? He said, I want you to go to my college. I said, hey, told the Nike guys, get this information. They called me back a week later. No, because then he said something. He says, I got to go in the Army. I said, yo, man, you 7 feet tall. You're not going in the damn Army. You're not going in the Army. Nobody going to have no 7-foot person in the Army. And and they called me back like a month later. I said, Chuck, they changed the rules now. He's going to go in the draft. I said, okay. And, people don't even realize this. He didn't get drafted by the Mavs. He got drafted by Milwaukee.
Right.
And I hate to say this, and I apologize to his family. It's probably going to go down one of the worst trades in NBA history because they traded him for Robert Tractor Traylor.
You did.
And Traylor was a nice kid, rest in peace. But that's probably going to go down. That's a bad trade. Because Dirk's, up until to Joker, he was the greatest foreign player ever.
Right.
And when the Joker finished,
you was taking him over Olajuwon as foreign player?
I kind of look at it different because
you like Akeem did play on American soil for a number of years.
Yeah.
These guys came straight from overseas to the NBA.
Shout out to Akeem. It was an honor and privilege to play with him also. But listen, by the time
Jokic is the best foreign player.
Yes.
It's over. He done passed Dirk. He passed Dirk.
Yeah,
it's over.
Listen, because I think they're gonna win this thing again.
Did you think? I remember watching him. I followed his career since I played in Denver, and I've been following him. And I watched him in the bubble in 2020, and I watched Anthony Davis gave it to him.
Yeah.
But now
it's over.
He's on a different. Chuck.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy can give you 30, 20, and 15.
Like
there's nothing he can't do.
Well,
offensively.
What's crazy? Like last night.
Yes.
We were making a big deal because Aaron Gordon played fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic. Jamal Murray played great. And then we were looking at the stats last night. We're like, man, the Joker had 24, 15, and 9. That's the easiest 24, 15, and 9. And we didn't mention him.
On 13 shots.
We did not even mention him. We made a big deal. We interviewed Aaron Gordon because he had career highs in points and assists, rebounds, excuse me. And I was looking at the stats. I said, man, Joker had 24, 15, and 9.
Right.
And it was so quiet. We didn't even talk about it. But, there's two interesting stories in the NBA that people never talk about. Steph Curry and Joker. If you talk about people who deserve their job and people who should get fired, you know that when the Golden State Warriors had to make a big decision between Steph Curry and Monte Ellis.
Yes.
And most people got mad they traded Monte because Steph was always hurt. And same thing with Joker and Nurkic.
Yep.
They were like, y'all should keep Nurkic instead of the Joker. And you think about how different. One guy got 4 championships, and he's one of the greatest players in NBA history. And this guy's gonna be.
He gotta be about to get his 3rd MVP.
Yes.
And possibly another ring.
Like, you talk about changing the entire dynamics of your franchise of history. That's amazing. We made the right decision.
And Yoke went in the 2nd round.
I know. But they had to make that decision.
Yes.
And the same thing, because they knew that Monte Ellis and Steph, that you can't play 2 little guards like that.
Nah.
And people were mad on both accounts. That's how crazy this life is.
Chuck, The Athletic had a poll. And this guy has been winning most overrated for like the last 5 years. And that's Rudy Gobert. Why does Rudy get so much flack?
Well, I think that we don't respect defensive players. I love ESPN. Love ESPN. We don't show block shots unless it's Anthony Edwards. That shot, block
Or
shot.
LeBron
yes.
chase down.
Or LeBron chase down. We never show defense. We show guys making shots and dunking. Like, ESPN is amazing, don't get me wrong. But in a 2-hour game, they show you a minute, maybe a minute. I doubt if the highlights of the game last longer than a minute.
Right.
They ain't showing Rudy Gobert blocking shots or changing shots.
Wemby, we showing Wemby blocking shots.
Yeah. But they gonna show him making threes and taking the ball behind his back and everything. But we don't show defensive players. Like, you think about it. In the NFL, we talk about the Bosa brothers, Michael Parsons. We very seldom talk about defensive players.
Correct.
Because defense isn't pretty. Like, unless Michael Parsons making a sack or something by one of the Bosa brothers, Hutchinson in Detroit, Aaron Donald, who's amazing. Shout out to Aaron Donald, man. It's been an honor and a privilege to watch you play. But we only show offense.
Yeah, because now it's an offensive era.
Yeah.
They don't let you play football like they had when they had Butkus and they had LT, your Ray Lewis's, the Ronnie Lodge that were decapitating people out there.
Yeah.
They don't want to show that side of the game because they're trying to clean it up and said, look, we're trying to stay away from, we want to make the game safer.
Yeah.
But you want to see all these one-handed, you're going to see every one-handed catch that happens on Sunday, though. You're going to see that.
You're going to see that.
So, this is the greatest player of all time. It seems to be a two-man race now. Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Kareem is the most underrated player in the history of the NBA.
Yes.
He was the all-time leading scorer, the third leading rebounder. He won 6 MVPs, 5 championships, and that make it seem like the man was some sauce.
Yeah. Well, I got number of admiration for Kareem. First of all, that's the activist he's always been.
Yes.
I find let's talk about the Michael LeBron thing. They played in different eras. They're, in my opinion, they're right there. It's either A or B.
Okay.
But I would say this about LeBron. Number one, I like him a lot as a person. I think he's a nice guy. Never said that about Michael Jordan. So he'll kill you. He'll kill you. I've said there's 2 things. I put Kobe right there also, but Michael and Kobe will kill you. LeBron's a nice guy.
Right.
Michael and Kobe will kill you. If they played against their sister, she gonna get her ass kicked. LeBron, he ain't gonna beat up his sister. But I would say this about LeBron. I think it's the greatest story of any jock who's ever lived. Because if you go back and look about guys who came out of high school, people forget Kobe struggled early.
He did.
Kevin Garnett struggled early. LeBron James is the only one, because we had his first game. I say LeBron James is the only one who didn't struggle right away.
Right.
He came in and was a good player. He wasn't great right away, but he was a good player.
Right.
But also in this generation where everybody's got a cell phone and people out to get you, he's never gotten in trouble. He's exceeded what
Any expectations.
Any expectations.
Whatever you thought he could be.
Yeah.
And because he was the chosen one,
Yes.
on the cover of Sports Illustrated
Yeah.
17. So whatever you thought he could be,
He's just eclipsed it.
he's eclipsed it.
And to never get in trouble in this generation. Like I say, everybody's got a cell phone now. People are deliberately trying to get you.
Yes.
I think it's the greatest sports story ever, in my opinion.
Single mom,
Yeah.
he didn't go to college. They gave the keys to the franchise to an 18-year-old kid and says, we're only going to go as far as you take us. And like you said, he's been a model citizen, both on and off. Obviously, to building the brand, Jordan gave everybody the blueprint.
Yeah.
And we see Kevin Durant, we see the Steph Curry, we see the LeBron James starting production companies, being active outside. Give Junior Bridgman some credit too. People don't know who that is.
Well, every time I see Junior, I say thank you, because Magic is kind of taking over now.
Oh, yes.
But Junior was a good player, but his portfolio, owning all those restaurants, probably being the first billionaire athlete, to be honest with you, Him, Dave Bing, and also is amazing businessman. But every time I see Junior Bridgman, like for a guy who didn't make a ton of money,
that's what's so impressive.
Yeah,
and didn't have the name.
Didn't have the name to learn how to handle business, and he's probably got 500 to 1,000 restaurants now, and like does it so low key. Does it so low key. Like every time I'm around here, I try to pick his brain, because the one, like, it's different now because these guys make so much money.
Yeah.
I said, back in our day, I says, dude, and I'm not poo-pooing on this either. I want to make it clear, because, you know, when I say it, it's going to sound stupid. The most money I made was $5 million. That was my last year.
Right.
I says, now that's below the minimum. I says, to be a businessman in our day and become a billionaire, you are great at business.
Right.
You are great at business.
And he wasn't a name. People wanted to attach themselves to Magic.
Yes.
People wanted to attach themselves to Mike.
Yes.
He was Junior Bridgman.
Just a great businessman and a good dude. Here's to me is one of the greatest stories ever. And if I was the NBA, I would bring him in every year to my teams, and say, guys, because what people don't understand, everybody on an NBA team or NFL team ain't making a lot of money.
True.
Or ain't gonna play a lot of years.
10, 15.
The average, in both sports, the average year is about 4 years. Those the guys who need a Junior Bridgman. That's like, you know, I was watching the draft last night, and this always annoys me about young kids. I was like, these dudes got Louis Vuitton shirts.
Iced out.
And I don't mind a little ice, but too much ice. They got Dior shoes. I says, they do know that money ain't gonna last forever, right? Get you a pair of Nikes. I'm not paying for no Dior shoes.
But you gotta be nice. Cause you had that cranberry suit on. Yeah. You were nice, Chuck, with that little skinny tie.
There's nothing wrong with a nice suit. But I tell these guys, you know, Shannon, when I first was an idiot, when I got my money.
Yeah.
I had like 3 or 4 cars. And Dr. J says, how many of those cars can you drive at the same time? I said, what do you mean? He says, how many of those cars you got to drive at the same time? I says, 1. He says, well, why you got 4? He said, Chuck, this money got to last you for the rest of your life. He says, this money got to last you the rest of your life. He says, son, don't waste all your money on cars. Everybody know who you are. Wow. He said, if you pull up in a Kia, they know, oh, that's Charles Barkley. If you pull up in a Mercedes-Benz or a Rolls-Royce, that's Charles Barkley. But the problem is that money, it's not the fact that you can't afford that car.
Right.
It's the fact that $300,000 you spent on that Bentley, if you bought a car for $70,000, $80,000, you would have had $200,000 more in the bank, and it would have been growing and growing, and then 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 20 years, that $200,000 is going to be worth a lot more.
The question is, Charles, is that and I tell young people, you can afford that car right now at 20. Will you be able to afford that car at 60?
Yeah, that's the key.
There's a 40-year gap in there.
Yeah, but see, the young guys, they think, like, I always tell them, I say, yo, man, we know stuff. I ain't trying to hate on no young guy. But I'm trying to, because I don't want you to be on that list. What list is that? 80% of professional athletes go broke. I don't want you on that fucking list.
Where are they now?
Yeah, well, like, yo, this money, you're 20. When you're 55, how much money you gonna have left? That's the key.
Especially living life. If you're living a lifestyle right now, don't you want to live that lifestyle for the rest of your life? I mean, I don't want to be poor. I've been poor.
Hey,
I know what it's like to eat raccoon, possum, sardines, Vienna sausages, pig ears, pigtails, pig feet. I don't want to eat that no more, Chuck, unless I want to. I don't want to have to eat it out of necessity.
Hey, well, listen, I got to have my pig feet.
You still eat pig feet?
I do. Oh yeah, I do. I got pig feet. I get them. I go to a great soul food place here called K&K.
Okay.
I get me some pig ears, not pig ears, pig feet.
Yeah.
I got to have my neck bones.
You see, I love some neck bones.
I love
oxtails.
Oxtails. That's their specialty. I love me some oxtails.
Yeah, man. See?
You got to get some yams. You got to get some collards. I mean, but when like I say, I started and I tell them, I say, yo, man, I've been in your situation. I wasted money on cars, and then you're like, oh man, because when you waste money on cars, you're really just trying to impress other people.
Correct.
That's what you're doing. That's like when I used to have nice cars. They said, what kind of rims you gonna put on it? I said, what do you mean? They're like, put some rims on it. I said, so if I put rims on it, I'm really trying to impress other people because I actually can't see the rims when I'm in the car. That's what I tell them. I said, I can't see the rims when I'm in the car.
Right.
So that's what Doc said. He said, so you're really trying to impress other people.
Right.
You don't have to impress people. They already know who the hell you are.
Is it because, Charles, a lot of us come from single family homes. Yeah. We didn't have anything. And this is the first opportunity. Because we don't see the other side. They don't. Yeah. I don't think Peyton Manning went out and bought a Rolls Royce. Yeah. I don't think guys when they obviously they have nice homes and But I'm saying because all I wanted when I was like, man, when I saw Miami Vice and I saw that Ferrari, I said I'm getting me one of them. And Rolex, I said I got to get me. So I wanted to that was my way of saying I've made it.
Yeah. And Herm Edwards, who's somebody I really like and admire, he says you can have one car. You don't need 5. You don't need a bunch of houses.
No.
He says, I live by the one model. You need one. That's good enough. And like I say, and the young black kids, and I'm talking to them, man, save your money.
Yes.
And another thing, you don't have to take care of all your family and friends. For some reason, black people, myself included, I used to be like, my financial people told me, why are you taking care of 7, 8 people? I'm like, well, he said, no. No, you don't have to take care of everybody.
Right.
Because you're going to go broke. Mm-hmm. So no, I tell these young kids, yo, man, if you want to do something nice for your mom and dad, you want to do something nice for a brother or sister, that's fine. They don't have to be on the payroll.
Right.
You don't, you don't owe them. That was their job to take care of you. But if you want to do something nice for them, that's fine. Grant Hill, his mom.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Gave me the best advice ever. I said, because we were at the Olympics actually here in Atlanta in '96, and her and Calvin had came down for a couple games. They said, Chuck, we're gonna be here a couple days and we got to get back to work. And I said, Grant just signed the first $100 million contract in NBA history. She says, sit your ass down, Charles. I said, Miss Hill. He says, Charles, I'm gonna just give you some advice. Do not start taking care of your family and friends. Because number one, they're never gonna stop, and it's gonna ruin all your relationships. Mm-hmm. I said, what do you mean? He says, when you start giving people money, they're never gonna ask you for money one time.
Right.
But she said, the second thing is, no matter what you do for them, the first time you tell them no, they hate you. And I said, what? And I had to learn, people who I have been giving money to, the first time I told them no, they like, no, we're not friends anymore. Yeah. That was a tough and painful lesson for me.
It absolutely is, because that's why you have to put limits on what you give, because they'll never put limits on what they take.
That's exactly right.
But it's like that with anything. Charles, you and I can go out here right now. We can sign 25,000 autographs, but if we don't sign 25,001, and Shannon Sharpe and Charles Barkley assholes.
But I had to learn that too. I'll sign some autographs, but I'm like, yo, I'm done. You an asshole. Okay, I'm good. It don't affect me anymore. Because, like I said, somebody said earlier, everybody wants to be liked.
Yes.
Yeah, because everybody here guys are, well, I don't care what people think about me. Yes, you do. Stop being an asshole. You care. Especially if it's if they don't have a reason now, that's different.
Right.
But everybody wants to be liked. But you can't make everybody happy.
You can't.
Like I say, after games, I would stop and sign. I had a rule. I signed 10. Mm-hmm. There's 20 people. I said, guys, I got to go get something to eat. I said, I'm going to sign 10. That's it. And they're saying some stuff when you leave. But you're like, okay, we're good. I don't feel bad. I signed 10. I did what I was supposed to do. I'm going to keep it moving.
Who's your MVP this year?
Well, there's 5 guys I think you can vote for and feel like you ain't screwing anybody.
Okay.
Shai Gilgeous.
Okay.
Because they got the best record in the West. Mm-hmm. Joker, Jalen Brunson, Ant Edwards, and Luka. I think because the one thing I will say that ESPN annoys me about. First of all, they make up these fake stories about MVP. The MVPs never went to the best player. Never. No. It goes to the best player on the best team. Because nobody in their right mind thinks Steve Nash was better than Shaq and Kobe.
Right.
But they had the best regular season record when he won MVP. Mm-hmm. He deserved it. Steve Nash deserved MVP. Michael Jordan was the best player before he started winning MVPs. But until he started winning, he wasn't going to get MVPs.
Correct.
So I hate that argument. Like I say, if you vote for any of those guys, I was like, that's fair.
Right.
Like, Derrick Rose won it one year over LeBron. He deserved it. The Bulls had the best record that year. Was he as good a player as LeBron? No. But they had a better record. And same thing with even KD, who's a great player. Mm-hmm. He won MVP. They had the best record that year. But it always normally goes, like I said, if you vote for Shea or Luka or Joker, but I actually think what Bronson did this year for the Knicks was incredible.
Yes.
To get them to the second seed without Robinson being out most of the year, without Rondo most of the year, OG was out for a period of time. Mm-hmm. But what Luka did, so this is, I think me and Magic had the closest vote ever. Mm-hmm. I think this is going to be the closest one ever.
Wow. Who's your favorite non-NBA athlete?
That's a great question. It depends on the sport. Like in golf right now, my favorite player is probably Max Homa.
Okay.
Because he seems like a great kid and he doesn't take himself that serious.
Okay.
In football, it's Aaron Donald, who just retired. Mm-hmm. In baseball, it's probably Mike Trout.
Okay.
In tennis, Robbie Shelton.
Okay.
I think that's his name, Shelton. I forget. There's another golfer named Shelton. I get them confused sometimes. But, I just love sports. Because sports, man, I have zero idea where I would be in my life without that stupid little round ball. Because it has did so much for me. Like I said, you grew up in a town of a couple thousand people. I have been all over the world. I'm sitting here on Club Shay Shay. Like, if it's not for that basketball, it has given me every single thing in my life.
Correct.
I'm so lucky and appreciative because I have I was able to build my mother and grandmother a house.
Wow.
I was able to send my brother's kids to college. I've been all over the world because of the stupid little basketball. And I can make up something where I would be without basketball, but it probably, if I'm real,
it won't be as good.
It damn sure won't be as good, but I don't know if it'll be pretty, because I'm not going to get up here and act like I was a great student. I'd be working somewhere, doing something with me. Yeah. But man, that ball, I'm pretty sure, all the success you've had as a player and in the entertainment industry, it all
originated from that.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. And we're so lucky because, you know what I tell people all the time? I admire people who got a real job, but I don't want one.
No. growing up like how we grew up, Charles, it let me know what I didn't want to do as an adult. Because if it's breaking as a child, can you imagine as an adult doing that for 12, 14 hours a day?
And not even making money.
No.
I was like, because people say, what do you think about sometime during the game? I said, when I get tired, I think about, man, if you don't get some energy from somewhere, 9 to 5 don't sound good.
No.
9 to 5 don't sound good at all. I never want to work 9 to 5. Yeah. I said, I admire people who work 9, and especially like when you see somebody doing, I shouldn't say this, somebody's doing a job.
Yeah.
You're like, damn.
Or working 2 jobs.
Yeah, but when I see somebody, like when I'm in Phoenix, it's like 115 degrees, and I said, and they working outside. I'm like, oh, hell no.
Nah.
Or you see somebody working in the winter and it's cold. You're like, damn.
Right.
I says, woo, I'm glad I handled my business.
How many more years you think LeBron's going to play? And can he continue to play? I mean, he averaged 25, 8, and 7 in year 21. How many more years can he play, and how many more years can he be played at the level in which he's currently playing?
I hope he retires soon, because I hated the way I retired, because I sucked. Nope. Jim Brown is really, and he retired because he didn't want to get tired of playing football.
And he didn't want to. He wanted to act.
Yes, because he wasn't making any money.
No,
and he didn't want to just kill himself. It ends badly for every jock. It ends badly for every jock.
Getting in is easy. It's to get it out that's hard.
And your ego says you can still do it. Because I remember telling myself my last 2 years, okay, I'm going to get myself in great shape this summer. I'm going to have a good year, then I'm going to retire. Then I figured out, like, playing against air, everybody's good against air. Everybody is great against air. But when you see when that 25-year-old is looking at you like, licking his lips, you're like, oh, and like, there's nothing you can do. Like, when you working out during the summer and ain't nobody playing defense on you and you in great shape, but when you see that 25, 27-year-old and he's looking at you like, yep, I used to watch you, I'm coming for you.
Right.
And there's nothing you can do about it. But to answer your question, I hope he retires while he can still play. Because, man, I've been there myself. I saw Patrick Ewing his last legs. Saw Michael Jordan playing with the Wizards.
Yeah, Patrick. I mean, Patrick in Orlando.
Yeah,
Mike.
I was like, that's the greatest player I played against. I don't want to see him doing that with the Wizards. So, I don't want to see any great play when they pass their prime.
How do you navigate? Because you were a great player. You won MVP. You won 2 gold medals. How do you navigate, Charles, when you offer a critique or a criticism of a current NBA great and they shoot back, well, you ain't never won anything. What did you do this and what did you do that? How do you navigate that?
Well, you got to be able to dish it and take it. The one thing I'm really proud of, and I hang my hat on this, I've never been personal with a player.
Right.
I only stick to basketball. I only stick to basketball. I would never comment on a guy's personal life. Now, sometimes they get in trouble. I have to say something.
You have to.
But I can look at a guy and say, hey, man, because I get calls all the time from players and agents. I said, I'll tell you why I said that. And they're like, okay. I said, this is what pissed me off too, Shannon. You know, man, why y'all never call me when I said something positive? I said, wait a minute. I said 9 great things about you. Why do you never call me when I said something positive? And I say one critique, and you blow up my phone calling me names. I had this thing with Kobe Bryant one night. So it was a game where he wouldn't shoot.
Right. Against Phoenix, game 7, I think. Because you guys told him he would shoot too much.
Well, he was trying to prove a point.
Oh, yes.
I ain't got no help. So he went the whole second half and shot one time. And I asked him, I said, Ernie said, what? I said, man, I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed in Kobe. He was trying to prove a point that he didn't have any help. He shot one time in the second half. And you know, at that time, they were comparing to Michael. I said, Michael, when he played against the Celtics, he's like, I got to get 60 something. I'm going to get it, whatever. He's not going to pout. Kobe starts texting me, you motherfucker. I said, yo, man, I'm doing my job, but you such a asshole. We go back and forth so about this time, it's about 1 a.m. We go back and forth for like 2 hours. I said, yo, man, pick up the phone and call me. Stop texting. And it was great. We laughed about it later. He was mad at the moment. He understood I was doing my job. But it was so funny. We texted each other for 2 hours, Shannon. And it was just mother. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna get mad at dude. That's dude. Call me, pick up the phone. But it was hilarious. We laughed about it later.
I'm gonna get you out of here on this. Yeah. Charles, this is the first time in a very long time that people that's in our position have had to comment on the discourse sometimes that's what's going on in America.
Yes.
We see the Trayvon Martin. We see the George Floyd. We see what happened in Wisconsin. And now all of a sudden, you and I, we have to comment on that.
Yeah.
Where when you played and I played, politics, religion, orientation, we talked about that, maybe mention that in the locker room without the media or without the purview of the public hearing about it.
Yeah.
How do you navigate, knowing that you came from Alabama, knowing that what goes on in America, that sometimes it's racism, sometimes it's racist.
Yeah.
How do you navigate your conversation that you disseminate to the public?
That's a really good question because I'm asked that sometime with my boys. The first thing is, it's exhausting being black.
Yes.
It's exhausting being black. Like, we're trying to live our lives, be successful. Then Trayvon Martin happened. We got to talk about it. Unfortunately, that was a really awful situation. Then we get back in our routine. Then George Floyd happened. We got to talk about it.
Correct.
You know, I was talking to Sam Jackson one time. He's like, yeah, I'm trying to make a movie. They asked me like, nobody got nominated for an Oscar. So as a black person, something always coming up. For me personally is, I said, I have to like take a step back. Because the one thing you can't do is yell and scream.
Correct.
Because once you yell and scream, they're like, turn it off. And I say, guys, let's have a serious conversation, but I need you to be, my girl, Judge Judy, I'm a big Judge Judy fan.
Yeah.
She always says, you're listening, but you're not hearing me.
Right.
I said, I need you to hear me. Don't listen to me, hear me. Those are two different things.
Listen to understand.
Yes. And I'm not, and I'm not mad at you, but I need you to understand this is happening. And it's just exhausting being black. Because every time you're trying to do your thing or just live your life, something racist or racial happens.
Correct.
I try to do this one thing. I try to don't ever speak when you're mad. Don't yell and scream. Because I know if I yell at you, you're going to ignore me.
Yeah.
Or you're going to turn me off or ignore me.
Yep.
So for me and you and Stephen and Mike Wilbon, man, I need y'all to trust me because sometimes people play the race card when it's not playable. Because then you become the guy who's gonna cry wolf all the time.
Right.
The one thing I promised TNT when I took this job, because I told them the social stuff is really important to me. It's really important to me.
Right.
I said, I won't beat you over the head with it all the time. Because if I beat you over the head with it all the time, they're gonna I'm not gonna watch.
Pretty soon you'll become desensitized.
Yes.
It's not gonna have the same impact.
Yeah, I said, if every time something happens, he's gonna talk about race or something like that. And I think I've done a good job. I says, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. But I think we have to be very selective. I do. I think we have to be very selective because, man, racial shit happen all the time.
For sure.
All the time. And I want people to see like Shannon, Charles, Stephen A. They're going to be fair and balanced.
That's it.
That's all. So that's the only thing I try to do in this situation. Like, yo, man, Chuck ain't just trying to play race or trying to stir it up or be a victim. I says, because the one thing you have to always say, like sometimes black people are wrong. And then I know I'm going to be an Uncle Tom. I'm going to be a sellout.
Yeah.
I said, listen, man, those words don't bother me. We don't have to agree with all black people.
We don't.
But they think we do.
Yes.
They think we do. I said, yo, man, sometimes black people are wrong.
And it's okay.
It's okay.
And it's okay to say they're wrong.
But if you're a black person in our position, look at that Uncle Tom. Yeah. Look at that sellout. I'm like, yo, man, we can be wrong. And that goes back to what we talked about earlier. I always want to uplift black people.
Correct.
Always. I'm proud of your success. And I know people gonna hate on you. I know people gonna hate on me. And they're gonna be black. I said, but man, I love to see black people doing good.
I love to see us win.
I love it. But I was like, I'm old enough and I'm around enough to know there's gonna be some hate coming toward me. Especially if they disagree with something I say.
Right. But I want you to win, but I don't want you to win more than me. Now I see if you win more than me, now I got to question your sexuality. Yeah. I got to question, how black are you? Because, bro, I'm like, come on, man. I mean, I criticize white quarterbacks. But if I criticize a black quarterback, man, see, I should have known old Buck Dancing Shannon. I know he gonna take care of the white. Come on, bro.
No, man. And number one, I've been watching for a long time, obviously. I never seen you try to get clickbait, ever.
No.
I said, yo, man, I take this responsibility because I do know. But I'm not gonna tell black people they right all the time.
No.
If you want that, I'm not your guy.
If you wrong,
you're wrong.
I gotta tell you wrong.
I said, yo, man, no. We can be wrong. But also on the other hand, when I see some shit happen to a black player of the community, I'm gonna step in.
Right.
I had it was interesting. There's a couple of things happened recently that I talked to my mentors and friends about. One was O.J. Simpson, and one was Michael Porter Jr. And I said, I'm not sure how to handle this O.J. thing. He said, what do you think? I said, man, I don't have any respect for men who hit women, and I think he killed them two people. I says, what do you think he killed those people or not? I think he did. I said, but I have, and I've always said this, and I'm just saying this to you, I have no respect for men who hit women.
Okay.
And I don't want to bash the dude, because he got a family and he died. He got kids. And I said, you know what? I'm not even gonna mention it. And I didn't. Because I said, I don't want to just bash the dude, because I can't say anything positive. Yeah, was he a great jock? Yes. But when you go around beating women and like that, I got no respect for you.
Right.
And then the Michael Porter Jr. thing.
But the WNBA?
No, Michael Porter.
About his brother.
Yeah, both brothers.
Bro, yeah, one got a DUI and I think he killed somebody, right?
He did.
He killed somebody, and the other brother took the under on himself.
Yeah. And I feel his pain. I feel his parents' pain.
Yeah.
I feel that as a jock. Because in it, and this is the one thing, I look at sports, it's the greatest fraternity ever. I feel like everybody in the NFL, anybody in Major League Baseball, in the NHL hockey, I think they're part of my family. I like, they know my experiences. And so I was saying, man, I really want to wish Michael Porter Jr., let him know that I'm thinking about him. I wish his family the best. And my friend says, yo, man, that lady did die. And I was like, yeah, you got a point there. Like, because if I said, hey, man, I wish you the best, I'm thinking about you, because I know that it's got to be painful for his family with his brother and his other brother going to jail.
Yeah.
It's like,
not as painful for that family that lost their loved one.
Yes.
Because he can go to jail and hug him.
Yeah.
He can go to his brother's home and hug him.
Yeah.
They can't go to the graveyard and hug her.
And I said, Chuck, shut up on both accounts.
Yeah.
So I always think about, because, it always makes me laugh. Because my friend's like, yo, man, you got these people eating out your hand. I said, what you talking about? He says, you know the reaction before you say it. I says, of course I do. I know when I'm going to start a fire. Yeah. I know it.
Right.
But I had planned on the start, because most of the time, that goes back to the role model commercial I made.
Right. Yes.
So when I made the commercial, I went to Nike and said, I want to make this commercial. I said, they're like, you out of your mind. I said, no. I said, what I'm noticing is we have too many segregated schools in this country. I said, when I go to these white schools, I said, what do y'all want to do when you grow up? They want to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers. When I go to these black schools, they're like, I want to play in the NFL, I want to play in the NBA. And I was doing this cause you do a lot of speaking when you're in playing. So I was doing this for like 4 or 5 years, and I was like, yo, man, these black kids think they can only be successful through athletics and entertainment.
Yep.
They don't ever think about being doctors, lawyers, and engineers and shit like that.
Right.
So I talked Nike into doing the commercial, and it became a big deal.
You did.
Still probably the thing I'm most proud of to this day. I said, because I knew it was going to start a fire. And I was like, guys, I'm not trying to skirt responsibility, but I want young black kids to know, like, yo, man, you don't have to play in the NFL or NBA. We got black doctors.
Right.
We got black lawyers. We got black engineers. But y'all got these kids thinking like all they see is Shannon, Michael, Carl, Chuck, David Robinson. The only black people they see are jocks and entertainment, Jay-Z. I said, man, they got a better chance of being a doctor than a lawyer playing in it.
Jay-Z
yes.
or LeBron.
Yes. And I said, I just want to spark the debate. And in fairness to Nike came back to me later and said, man, we want to thank you for making that commercial. I said, because 90% of the letters we got were pro. I said, well, first of all, I'm not worried about no negative publicity, motherfucker. I play in Philly. I said, I thought my name was Charles Barkley, you motherfucker, for like the first 2 years of my, I said, guys, I'm in Philly. I'm used to criticism, but I always have used my platform for a bigger debate.
Yes.
I'm trying to make a difference. You know, one of the things I'm proud of you, and I don't talk about this a lot, I'm not trying to get praised because I keep it very quiet. So for the last 15 years, I've been giving $1 million a year away to charity.
Okay.
And I don't even tell anybody. I'm sharing this because I'm gonna tell you why I'm proud of you. So I started out in my high school, my college, Wounded Warriors, ALS, Parkinson's. But the last 8 years, the point I'm getting to, I did HBCUs.
Okay.
It means a great deal to me to be able to do that.
Right.
And you being a product. When I watch you and Stephen A, when y'all go back to y'all HBCUs, I just think it's really important what y'all do for the HBCUs. And it really makes me feel good when I write that check. Cause, you know, we got a couple of them here in Atlanta. I think 3 of them are here in Atlanta, Clark, Morehouse, and Spelman. But man, I just want to use my platform to keep doing good stuff. But you know, just being a product of HBCU, how far you came, I'm really proud of your success.
Appreciate it. And I think the thing is what that does is that you think about 3 of the most prominent morning voices, myself and Stephen A. Michael Strahan.
Yes.
With the HBCU.
Yeah.
He's a Texas Southern.
Yeah.
I'm Savannah State. Stephen A's
Yeah.
Winston-Salem. So it goes to show you, you don't have to go to Syracuse.
Yep.
You don't have to go to Michigan or one of these PWIs in order to do what we're doing because we're living proof of that. I think the thing also, that role model, for me, I was very, very fortunate because every role model I had was in my house. My brother, my grandfather, my grandmother. So I didn't look, athletes didn't, because I saw them every day. You see somebody jumping up and down on the basketball court or catching a football, you really don't know that person. You know what that person does. I knew what they did. I mean, you know the sport they play. I saw my brother every day. I saw my grandfather, my grandmother. So that's what I followed my brother around. So I wanted to be just like him. And I was like, man, if I could be like him. And my sister, it drove my sister crazy, Charles, because she's like, Shannon, be your own man. Why you want to be like him? But as I got older, and I remember telling, I said, everything I want to be is like him.
Well, what's crazy about it, and you know this, and unless you've been in pro sports, you don't know this. Man, there's so many assholes in our sport. Like, all you gotta do is be nice to the press, and they're gonna write good stuff about you. I've been in this thing for 40 years, over 40 years. Some of the worst people I've ever met got the best reputations because they're great with the press. And some of the people who got the worst reputation are some of the best dudes in the world. And I said, and it's all dictated, if you're nice to reporters and they got access to you, They're going to be right. Oh, he is the greatest guy. And I tell people, I said, man, you don't know these guys at all.
Right.
And it drives me crazy. I said, I says, if you got it always, I says, that's the reason they going to keep everything in the locker room. Because you don't want to know what's going on. I said, yo, man, this dude got the best reputation. He's the worst person I've ever been around.
Charles, how have you been able to keep your husband, father? How have you been able to keep that so hush?
Well, because I was not a good husband, and I want to be better next time. I do. I have been, my daughter, it's been the best thing ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
But the next stage of my life, I think I got to be better.
Mm-hmm.
I do need to be better. But, because I didn't know how to be a good husband or father.
Because you didn't have,
Yeah.
because your father was away.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the home.
Yeah.
He wasn't a good father.
And I just need to be better. And I hope to be better next time.
I want to ask you this, because this is something you know, Mike. There's a situation. Michael's son, Marcus, was, I don't know if he currently still is, dating Scottie's ex-wife.
Yeah.
How would you feel if a teammate of yours dated your daughter? Would you feel some type of way?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. That is I feel bad for Michael. I feel bad for Scottie.
Yes.
That is so messy. I don't like messy because when it's messy, everybody has an opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has an opinion. And you know the internet is not a place for messy.
No.
And you have to understand, it's a lot of kids involved.
Yes.
And people are mean. People are mean. And it's unfortunate. You know, I just got into social media because I didn't want to be around the meanness. And I feel bad for everybody involved because I see all the pictures. I don't do the comment stuff, but I know they're going to be mean.
Right.
But it's just, I just hate messy. And it's just really messy. And there are no winners. There's only losers. Because obviously Michael and Scottie's relationship can't ever be the same.
Right. Did you know, was it the Last Dance when Michael put that because he wasn't there at the time when Scottie refused to go in the game.
Yeah.
And he inserted that into the Last Dance. Did you always know that Scottie and Michael had this kind of contentious relationship? Because from the outside, it looked pretty good.
Yeah, I was surprised it was so bad.
Okay.
I was surprised. But in fairness, I didn't spend a ton of time with those guys together.
Right.
I spent a lot more time with Michael. A lot more time with Michael. You know, it's just a sad situation because I think not that I know, but you know, if you win a championship with guys, y'all probably have a special bond for life.
Oh, yeah.
I think if you win 6, y'all might as well.
Y'all should be brothers.
So like I say, you know, if you win one championship, I'm pretty sure every time y'all get together.
Because you're going to have the reunion.
Yes.
Every 5 year, 10 year, 15, 20, 30.
Yeah. But if you win 6 together, y'all should be damn near blood brothers.
Yes.
So that's the thing I most feel bad. There's guys I didn't win with. They're some of my best friends.
Right.
Every time I see them, it's like, man, I got another brother. And like we bumping each other at All-Star games, maybe the Hall of Fame ceremony, or we just bumping each other.
Right.
It's like a family reunion.
Right.
But if I had won 6 championships with somebody, I would think, man, we blood brothers for life.
When people that do what we do take shots at you, I mean, you had the funny back and forth. You and Shaq had the funny back and forth. You put Kendrick Perkins' face on the punching bag, and you punch it and you get in shape. I mean, how do you handle that when guys that do what we do take shots at you?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me because I guess technically we take shots at players.
Right.
The only problem that I had with what Kendrick says, there's nobody in the world watch more basketball than me. I tell you, like, and I had just come out of March Madness, which pissed me off even more because I was watching 2 or 3 college basketball games a day.
Right.
March Madness really sucks because I'm watching games all day long.
Right.
But to say another guys don't watch the games.
Because he has a different opinion than yours.
Yeah. And so that's the only thing bothered me. I say there's nobody in the world watch more basketball than me. So, but I don't get mad.
Right.
And the thing that's really funny about it, Shaq is so sensitive at times.
Right.
Because I was going to like let it go. And he's like, no. My mama told me growing up, we kill all roaches. And I said like, so that's how the whole roast thing came up.
Right.
And so anytime anything happened right now, Shaq's like, we killing roaches. And Shaq is so crazy. He made a rap diss song.
Yeah.
But I don't take it like, the only person I've taken shots at, honestly, is Skip Bayless. Because, man, what we do is such an honor. I don't think you can say stuff just to say it. Because my whole, going back then, I said, man, there's somebody in Montana, Maine, South Dakota. If I said something bad about these guys, they're like, well, I saw it on television. It's gotta be true.
Right.
So I'm be like, man, I'm not gonna say anything about a player, especially if it's personal. There's somebody in Montana or South Dakota gonna say, well, you know, Charles Barkley said this guy was blah, blah, blah. So I'm never gonna use my platform
For negativity.
for negativity.
I'm gonna get you out on this one. You once said that you probably lost about 20 million in gambling. Have you quenched that urge to gamble, or do you still like to gamble?
I love to gamble. I don't like to gamble. You know, I got to the point. So I would go to Vegas and I'd win $1 million.
Damn.
Oh,
I mean, what you play in a hand? 25, 30, 40,000?
I played 25,000 a hand.
Okay.
Yeah. Couple quick double downs, you can get that.
Yeah. And quick double down, you get it up out your pockets.
There's probably been 7 times that I won $1 million.
Okay.
There's probably been 25 times I've lost $1 million.
Right.
So what happened was I quit gambling for 2 years. And I always take the same group of guys to me and I said, man, I miss gambling. They're like, why don't you start gambling again? I said, well, man, I was getting out of hand. They're like, yo, man, your gambling ain't getting out of hand. You're just an idiot.
Right.
And the one thing I pride myself on around my friends, they can always be honest with me. I said, why you say I'm a idiot? They're like, yeah, man, we'll be sitting there. You'll be up $300,000-$400,000. We're like, Chuck, let's go. You good for the night.
Right.
And in my head, I'm saying, nah, we're not leaving this motherfucker. I win $1 million.
Right.
And they said, dude, there's times you've been up $600,000-$700,000
Right.
and you won't quit.
Right.
Because gambling is really just peaks and valleys.
It is.
It's just peaks and valleys.
It's the stock market.
Yes, that's all it is. And they're like, dude, why can't you win $300,000 and say, man, we had a great weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Why you got to win $1 million? And I said, what? They says, why can't you lose 300 and say, we still had a great weekend? And I says, are you serious right now? He says, man, you know I ain't gonna lie to you. Let's win a couple 100,000, have a great weekend, go home, or lose 200 or 300. You ain't got to win $1 million, or you ain't got to chase it and lose $1 million. And so to answer your question, I said, yo man, we're going to Vegas for the weekend. We're going to lose a couple 100,000, or we're going to win a couple 100,000. You know what we're going to do? We're going to play golf every day and get drunk every night.
Right.
And I had to change my mentality because you can never break the casino.
No.
They can break your ass.
Yes.
And my friends just sit me down and says, yo, man, let's just go have fun for the weekend. Let's win some money or lose a little bit. But Yeah, but that's what really happened. When I would lose $1 million, I was so depressed. Not that the money, yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah, because of the money, but the losing.
But the winning never feels as good as the losing hurt.
Yes. You're so excited when you got all that money laying in front of you, but you're like depressed for a week.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, I lost $1 million. And then you have to send a bill to your financial people. And they yell at you. And they yelling and yelling and yelling. And then I says, hey, y'all better quit yelling at me. I'm gonna fire y'all. And then they're like, okay, we'll pay it. But that's what really happened. I was getting out of hand because like you just had, your point was so good. No matter how good it feels winning, when you lose, it just sucks.
You really doing Ozempic?
No, I'm doing Manjaro. I've lost, so Shannon, when I got new hips.
Okay. So you got both of them replaced?
Yes.
I got both of mine replaced.
Yeah, it's the best thing ever. Like night and day.
I hate that I waited so long.
Me too. So I played at 250. I got up to 355.
What?
Yeah. It was good.
355?
Yeah. I was good eating too, brother. Good eating. So I got up to 355 and I was with one of my friends. He had lost a lot of weight. And he said, I said, yo, man, how you lose all that weight? He said, yo, man, I want you to go see my doctor if you're trying to lose weight. And I started doing Manjaro. And I went from 355 to 285.
Wow.
And I'm gonna get to 270. Just take a shot. It's unbelievable. And obviously I can't stay on it my whole life, but when I get to 270,
then you can work.
Then I can work. Mm-hmm. But like I say, when I got them hips, man, I gained 105 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, I was up to 355. And now I'm 285, and I want to get to 270. Because my doctor's like, 270, you're going to be all right. You know, if you 300, 320, like you got to worry about diabetes, stroke, hypertension, and things like that.
Ain't a whole lot of 70-year-olds.
No, he told me, she told me, her name is, she's a she. She said, ain't no fat old people. Yeah, ain't no fat old people. So I want to get my weight down because, it's interesting and difficult. And man, I'm 61. Mm-hmm. It's weird getting older. And I'm glad to get old.
Right.
But
better than the alternative.
Yeah, but I want to be healthy.
Right.
I'm back to playing golf there all the time now. I'm back to working out. But that's the main thing, man. I want to be here.
Charles Barkley, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you, man. It's an honor.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life.